Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with the prison sentence for a former Zandt County chief deputy who pled guilty to striking a handcuffed arrestee in the face. Today, a federal judge in Tyler sentenced Craig Shelton to 44 months in federal prison for violating that victim's civil rights back in November 2021. Also in court today, a former Zandt County sergeant punished with probation for lying about the incident. Alongside his family, Craig Shelton walked out of the federal courthouse in Tyler after being sentenced to about 3.5 years in federal prison, a sentence set to begin no later than June 30th. Speaking in court, the former Zandt County chief deputy accepted full responsibility for striking a handcuffed and compliant arrestee in 2021. He also acknowledged his desire for counseling dealing with drug and alcohol abuse, later included in his sentence. In a statement read by federal prosecutors, the victim in this case said they now feel paranoid, humiliated, and scared as a result of Shelton's actions.
As far as arrest,
Shelton spent 37 years as a licensed peace officer with stints at the Smith County Sheriff's Office and White House PD, where he served as chief until July 2015 when he resigned following an incident involving an officer's estranged wife. Sexual assault charges against Shelton were later dropped due to false testimony. The incident was not considered in today's sentencing. Also in court today, former Zandt County Sergeant Blake Snell, sentenced to 1-year probation for lying to investigators about the hitting incident. In court, Snell apologized and said he understands the consequences are a result of his own poor actions. Snell can be seen leaving the federal courthouse on the right, walking alongside his attorney.
Wanted to extend the opportunity for comment. That's okay, man. Thank you.
Now, the case in which Shelton hit an arrestee ultimately led to the resignation of now former Zandt County Steve Hendricks last year after just 18 months on the job. Both Snell and Shelton declined comment following today's sentencings. New tonight at 6, a man accused of killing a Panola County Sheriff's deputy back in court today with a different judge presiding in the case. Gregory Newsom is charged with capital murder for the December 2019 shooting death of Panola County Deputy Chris Dickerson. For the first time, Newsom appeared before Judge Christy Kennedy, now presiding in the case. This follows a recusal from Judge Leanne Rafferty. Newsom is accused of shooting Deputy Dickerson during a 2019 traffic stop in Gary. That's about 7 miles to the south of Carthage. Now, Judge Kennedy did ask us not to film Newsom or his defense team. Jury selection is scheduled for July 31st. But today, the defense requested a motion for continuance to allow more time to prepare for trial.
Today, the court is denying the motion for continuance, subject to being re-urged at a later date if you feel that it's necessary. Because you said something really interesting. You said, I don't know if I can do this, but I'll try. And that's what we're all going to do. We're going to try. We're all going to try and use our best efforts to accomplish this trial by the end of the year.
Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty in this case. A proposed trial date is set for October 2nd.